What's up, guys? This is Matt with From Ashes to New, and you're watching Inside the Pit. Oh, man. There's a lot of pros, obviously, so we could talk about them all day long. Cons, there's not a lot. I guess it all depends. We haven't been out with any bands that have treated us poorly, so we haven't had that yet. But sleeping, traveling, we all have memberships to a particular place, which I'm not going to put out there because I don't want to give it away. So we can take care of ourselves pretty well, but we drive, so we have to take 3-hour shifts, and everyone's tired, everyone's run down, especially by the end of the tour. You're living with 8 people in a small cramped space, so it's like I think that's the biggest con, is just being tired and being worn out. There's not a day that passes by, the pain is not a mass inside, it's breaking me down to the ground. It's like I crash. We try and mix everything into like one song, not a particular album. We have so many different influences in this band. Everyone listens to everything. I think that and that's the biggest thing with what we're doing is we're not trying to be anybody. We're just trying to be ourselves. And today it's really hard to be yourself because there's so much stuff that's already done. So we don't think about it too much. We just do it. And I think what we want people to take away from it is just be yourself. And I think that's in our lyrics. Overcome adversity, overcome struggles, and just be yourself and do what you want to do. And that's what we're doing, and we want everyone else to do the same. So if people would listen to the lyrics a little bit more, I know that the lyrics in music nowadays kind of suck. And I'm not going to say that just, about one particular genre, because it happens in a lot of genres. I know that a lot of people like to bash pop, but I'm not going to go out and just bash pop because a lot of genres do it. Just listen to the lyrics, because, our lyrics are the core of what we're doing. Well, it's funny because we got our first song picked up by Octane before we were even a band. So it kind of, hit the ground running really fast. We've had some great tours. We have a great team behind us. Everyone's been working really hard. So, financially, the music scene sucks for money. That's just the way it goes. If you're looking to do this to make money, I know that you've heard it. Don't, because there's none here. So I think that's the biggest struggle, is just trying to, work your finances and, work your tours into your finances and your personal life into your finances. Because once you start touring like we're touring, you can't keep a job. No one's going to keep you. So this becomes your job. So you just have to make sure that you have someone like our drummer that can manage money well, and everyone gets a paycheck. So I think that's the biggest struggle. For us, everything else has been swimmingly. Everything else has been going good. So we just, keep our fingers crossed and, keep working as hard as we are, and hope that it continues to go that way. Most of us were in local bands in our area, and we all pretty much had quit. I'm one of those people who refuses to give up. Like, if I set my sights on something, I have to have it. And, I just, being through the local bands that I was in and trying to do all this stuff, I was a guitarist. I wasn't a vocalist. I decided I was just going to do my thing. I didn't want to mess around with anybody else's ideas anymore. I just wanted to do my ideas. And I started writing, and I asked Chris to come join me because I can't sing like his angel voice. So I asked him to come sing for me. Just to do some side project stuff. Like, it wasn't even supposed to be a band. It was just us messing around and having a good time. And he didn't want to do it at first. He said no. And I finally talked him into it. He came in and did it. And then the pieces kind of fell in around it. Like I said, Octane picked it up, but we weren't even a band at the time. So at that point, we were like, oh, we should turn this into a band. So we brought the pieces in of people we have known for a long time because of our local scene. It was kind of like handpicking, artists from different bands that we had played on same stages with. Well, I have a small studio in my house, just a little home studio like a lot of people have. And the core of everything gets written there. It gets pre-produced there, the melodies, the lyrics, I think, again, it comes with our, our eclectic influences, we kind of just like I'll start with something maybe computer based, like some synths or something like that, or I'll write some guitars, and then we build it like a puzzle. And it just, for me as a writer, my main thing is just making sure that things transition. I think that if you put a song together and it transitions from part to part to part flawlessly or seamlessly, that's what makes a listener stay there and keep listening to it. So I think that with the writing process, we just make sure that when we write a part, that we can transition it to the next part, and then we keep moving it forward. And then when we get like a core built, maybe a chorus or something like that, like a chorus musically, then we start coming up with melodies and lyric ideas, and it all seems to kind of just flow out naturally. So, again, fingers crossed that it keeps going that way, because it's all been pretty easy for us at this point. Oh man, I mean, I am influenced by everything. So, I mean, if you were looking at my iPod, Eminem's at the top of my list. Like, I don't. I like everything that he does. I don't necessarily like his goofy songs as much as I like his serious songs. Like Not Afraid, and then recently he came out with Kings Never Die and Phenomenal, which were on the Southpaw soundtrack. By the way, if you haven't seen Southpaw, watch it. It's amazing. That movie has like helped change my life around at a point where I needed it to be changed around. So it's we go through ups and downs. So yeah, I mean, I got that. I have One Republic, Maroon 5, and then I have Asking Alexandria, Slayer. I mean, I listen to everything. It depends. If I'm driving down the road at night and I want to be laid back and put in a good mood, I'll put Pandora on smooth jazz and listen to that. So, I'm influenced by everything. I think it comes out in my writing that I don't, I like to keep my horizons broad, if that's the way you want to say it, and just make sure that I'm not a music snob. I just, I appreciate artists for what they do, and I also buy everything that they put out. I don't download it. So, that's the big thing for me, is just if it sounds good, I listen to it. Oh, I don't know. I'm like a sports team, and the way I look at everything is one game at a time. So I just want to keep taking that next step forward. I mean, hopefully we have a long career, and it's good. That's what I want it to be, but I don't know where I see it. So, one game at a time. Oh man, I don't know. We haven't been touring much, so there's not a lot of crazy things. I mean, this is only our fourth tour. So, I mean, I jumped off the stage in Mankato, Minnesota or Mankato, sorry for everyone in Minnesota. I jumped off the stage when we were there with Five Finger Death Punch, and we were in like a hockey arena, and I didn't realize that the floor was all wet. So there was like 4,000 people in front of me, and I just ate shit right on the floor, from like 5 feet up, just right on my ass in front of everybody in the middle of a vocal part too. So I continued going though, I stayed strong. I know Chris, he got an IV administered in a hotel room. So, I wasn't present for it, but I had heard all about it. Apparently he had been sick, and I guess like one of the fans was a nurse or something like that, and she gave him an IV. So, yeah, that was nice of her. So, but that's not weird, because I've heard that from numerous bands that has happened. Maybe not a hotel room, but people have gotten IVs from being sick and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I'm sure if you come back in a year or so, we'll have way more crazy stories to tell you. At this point, it's boring. We're not boring. This isn't boring, but our stories are boring. Our record, Day One, comes out February 26th. It's out for pre-order on iTunes and Pledge Music right now. Go pick it up. Don't download it. Make sure you buy it. Proceeds go to helping us stay out here and do this. So, thank you guys. We love you.